And today we're going to talk about our classroom rules. So often I go into classrooms and I see rules like be nice, have your listening ears on, we keep our hands to ourselves, share. We have things that, to me, really are about classroom management more than they are about establishing an understanding of how we are in the world. And when we talk about classroom rules, we make reference to the idea that your classroom is a microcosm of society, and that we really are helping children learn to be citizens and contributing members of our society. And so our classroom rules should really align with that perspective. When we say stuff like keep your hands to yourself, it's not really what we mean. If children are hugging one another before they leave for school, or, when they leave for the day, my daughter used to do this. She would hug all her friends before she left school. And when children are holding hands and skipping along, very often, we're okay with those types of interactions because they're appropriate interactions. What we really mean is don't kick, don't hit, don't punch, don't spit, don't do any of those things that are hurtful to others. So when we say keep your hands to yourself, it's not really what we mean. When we say be nice, it is a very vague, to say be nice. What does nice mean? If you polled 5 different people, they would have 5 different perspectives of the definition of nice. It's too vague. And so when we're looking at classroom rules, we're really looking at what are our guiding principles in life. And what we recommend as classroom rules are we take care of ourselves, we take care of each other, and we take care of our things. Everything falls within these 3 rules. We take care of ourselves or our self-help. Those are all the things that we do to take care of our bodies, to take care of our emotional selves. It may be that, and for those of you who've attended our sessions, we talk about the safe place. And so maybe going to a safe place when I'm feeling overwhelmed and uncertain, or maybe I'm just having a very difficult time, that I willingly, remember, it's never used as timeout. It's never used as a place as a threat, but rather a place for co-regulation. And so the child walks over to the safe place and he's taking care of his own emotional needs right now. It also is just some of those basic things like blowing our nose and putting our jackets on and zipping them up and all of those things that we do to take care of ourselves. The second one is we take care of each other. This is where we really focus on pro-social experiences and skills, where we think about types of interactions that we would like to see now in a 5-year-old level. This is about listening and speaking and being able to listen to the ideas of others and engage in a meaningful conversation, in a silly conversation, just engaging in conversations. It's also being helpful. So let's say we are going outside and I'm trying to put my coat on and my sleeve is pushed in, the other way, and I'm having a difficult time, and that another child says, hey, let me help you. I can help you fix that. Or a child is cleaning up, let's say, the block area, and a child who is not in the block area stops and says, hey, I can help you clean. So these pro-social skills, these social engagement and interactions are really what we capture here is how are we helpful? How are we kind to one another? How can we create a community where everybody belongs? The next one is we take care of our things. That is, we are careful, we are mindful with how we use materials. We use materials in an appropriate way. Something as simple as putting caps back on markers. Putting caps back on markers is a skill you actually have to teach children, because if they've never had markers in their home and have never had the opportunity to really just freely explore with markers, they may not know that the best way to know a cap is that the markers are shut is by hearing that snap when a cap is secure onto the marker. And so you actually have to teach that to children. This is how we know our caps are on the markers. Why do we need our caps on the markers? Because if we don't have marker caps secured, our markers will dry out. And so this is how we take care of our things. And so when we are helping children understand, because these are very broad concepts, we take care of ourselves, very broad. We take care of each other, very broad. We care for all of our things, very broad. So how we help children understand what each one of these means is we take photographs of them in action. So as they are happening, we take photographs of children blowing their nose and then washing their hands. And washing their hands using the appropriate method, by the way. How they are helpful and kind to one another as they're putting things away, as you're getting ready to transition, or maybe a child's having a difficult moment. And you know, when children show expressions of empathy and they bring something over to them, we see this especially with younger children, but sometimes older children will, you know, give them a hug. They'll ask them if there's anything that they need. Those moments, capturing those and hanging them all around the classroom rules helps the brain be able to see what we take care of each other means. Now, I will tell you one of the best strategies for a child who believes that he can't, a child who believes he's a bad kid, a child who believes that nobody likes him, a child who believes that, you know, he's kind of a loner and it's because he doesn't know how to make friends. By the time they hit 5 years old, a lot of kiddos come in with these ideas already about themselves. And so when you can identify opportunities to see the child being able or working collaboratively with others, engaging with others. When you create those opportunities, take photographs of that particular child who already might have these belief systems so that he can change his perspective, his self-perspective. He can see himself as a child who can. He can see himself as a child who can make friends. He can see himself as a child who can play collaboratively and cooperatively with others. So helping and by putting an image of himself as a child who can it's one of the best strategies I used as a classroom teacher, and one that I highly recommend if you've got any of those challenging circumstances. And this may not even be a challenge. It may be a child who is shy or quiet or a little withdrawn, who socially has a difficult time connecting with others. So take a picture of that child. And sometimes you have to create the opportunities where that child is engaging with a small group of children or maybe one or two other children, and that when you create those opportunities, snap that picture and get it up there. And you can tell, let's say her name is Amanda. You say, Amanda, you're a kid who knows how to engage with other children. Look at you, we're sitting here playing a game with Sarah and Jessica. And so when we can help them see themselves as a child who can, it really helps them develop a stronger sense of self. So it's super important not just to have these words up here. It's super important to use them in the context of your experiences. So while you are working with children and you say to them, oh my goodness, look at you helped Joshua put all the blocks exactly where they need to be. In our classroom, we take care of each other, and you were very helpful to him. And so you want to incorporate these rules into our everyday life experiences. At school, and if those of you who have attended our sessions, you remember we try to help children understand the difference between behaviors at school and that there may be different behaviors at home. So we use the script, at school, we take care of each other. And then you describe what they did that was helpful or kind or considerate to someone else. We take care of our things. At school, we take care of our things. You made sure to put all of the papers back where they needed to be before you went to circle time. So when you use it in real life, they become the foundation for our belief systems, that what we do at school we take care of each other, we take care of our things, and we take care of ourselves. It becomes a part of our classroom climate, and it becomes a part of our classroom culture. And so that's how what our recommendations are for classroom rules. And I know for some of you, you might have a little bit of trepidation because I want them to know to use their inside voice. Well, inside voice comes under, we take care of each other. I want to make sure that they know that, the expectation is to be kind. Well, yeah, that comes under take care of each other. Putting things away. I want to make sure they put things away. Yeah, well, that comes under we take care of our things. So pretty much everything falls under these three major categories. And so then consider this for your classroom rules, but be sure to take pictures of the children of this current school year. So Please don't take pictures for this year and then try to use them for next year, because it has to be a story of the children's lives, of the story that you have in your classroom today. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope it gives you motivation to put this up on your walls if you haven't done so yet. Thank you.